My gosh, we have new weapons, new robots, and new legendary pilots. And the way I found out about this new robot, is so crazy. The story behind it and how I found out about it. And I'll explain that towards the end of the video. But there's a ton of new stuff. This is stuff I just found out about. So odds are you have not heard about this new equipment. So let's get into it. Let's start with the special edition stuff coming to the game. So we have new special edition Ardent lasers coming to the game. So these are the Korean laser weapons. The Ardent version, they're going to deal 5% more damage because they are special edition weapons. And I actually think they look a lot cooler than the regular edition of the lasers. My question is, do they fire different colored lasers than the regular edition weapons? Because that would be kind of cool. These weapons, the Ardent ones always look like they fire almost lava, but obviously that's not the case. So these are Ardent lasers, and then we're also getting an Ardent Imugi. So this thing, I for sure want to run with those lasers because look at this. It looks like a demon. Demon Ardent Imugi, and you will get 10% more HP with the Imugi. I actually have to say, the Imugi surprised me because Pixonic actually did a good job right now of balancing the Imugi. It's not overpowered, but it's also not terrible. It's fitting like right in that, I don't know, I'm going to say like 5 to 10 spot in the game where it's not OP, but it's also pretty balanced. So Ardent Imugi, Ardent lasers, run those together. You'll get 5% more damage on the lasers and 10% more HP on the Imugi. So now some legendary pilots. So this Herald pilot for the lasers increases the overheating time of overheating lasers by 3 seconds. I mentioned this pilot, I think it was 2 weeks ago or something like that, but now we have an actual picture. So he is an old guy with nice hair and a costume. He looks like it's like a Shakespeare costume, I guess. So I'm going to repeat that again. Herald's Thirst for Adventure is the pilot skill, and it increases the overheating time of lasers by 3 seconds. The thing is, 3 seconds, a 3-second longer clip is a big deal. And if you pair this, so run the Herald pilot on the Behemoth, and then run like the Wanji, or run the Ardent Wanji lasers on the Behemoth, that means you're getting 5% more damage, and now the clip of the lasers is 3 seconds longer, while these weapons are already very strong. So hopefully Pixonic's not like redlining it, where they're starting to make these weapons too overpowered. But that is the new laser pilot. And then we have a new pilot for the Ares and Imugi. I mentioned the pilot for the Ares in the past, but this one is actually a new one that I just found out about. So we now have, what's this one called again? Warren. So this is Warren, this little guy here with a pet robot dog on his shoulder. Just get a regular dog, man. You don't need a robot one. And then we have the Imugi pilot to the right. So let's start with the Imugi. So Monique Lennerman's prophecy. While the robot is flying, while the Imugi is flying, its guns receive additional damage and penetration. It doesn't state the amount, but I'm pretty sure it's 15%. So when you fly with the Imugi in the sky with this pilot, you'll have a 15% damage boost, which is pretty good. It's not game breaking, but like I said, the Imugi's already been pretty balanced. So hopefully this doesn't make it too OP. And the Ares pilot that we've mentioned before, Warren's Ingenuity reduces Ares' ability cooldown by 30%. And gives it a 35% damage bonus to its built-in weapons, which is a big deal because the Ares already got buffed where it has better speed, and now it's got a shorter cooldown and more damage on the built-in weapons. So all good stuff. So now let's get into the new weapons and robots. And at first it's going to seem a little bit confusing, but then it's all going to come together like some weird movie. So these are the new weapons. We don't have any actual pictures of these weapons, but we have their description. And also take this stuff with a grain of salt because this isn't confirmed. And maybe it could actually just not come to the game, but I'm pretty confident it's going to be. And I think it's definitely worth sharing. So new weapons, Guillotine, Hachi, and Sulfan. I think that's how you pronounce them. So it's a full set, heavy, medium, light. And obviously we know, or maybe you know or don't know, a guillotine. That's like one of those medieval things that people would use to like literally execute people. They'd lay down on it and then that chopping block would like chop their head off. So a bit of a weird name for a weapon, but also kind of cool, I guess. And these are the weapon descriptions. turret launching weapons that fire a deployable turret. These weapons will tether onto enemies within their radius and deal percentage-based damage. These weapons will return to their user after unloading or when no target is within their radius for 3 seconds. So Pixonic has been really into making these robots with built-in turrets, right? We got the Mars bot to start, and now we're seeing this Sirius Titan with 2 deployable turrets. Now they're making a series of weapons where you can put deployable turrets on any robot in the game, because light, medium, heavy. So I'm going to repeat that again. So these weapons will return to, so after you launch the weapons, they will return to the user after unloading or when the target is no longer within, or when no target is within their radius for 3 seconds. So I guess if you fire a turret just into like an empty space on the map, if there's no one there for 3 seconds, the turret just comes back. Very interesting. So full 3 set, and then these are more details. 350 meter range for these turrets, which is pretty good. Tether radius 125 meters. Fire rate 5 per second. Oh, that's pretty fast. So I guess 5 rockets per second. Charges 30 and reload 3 charges per second. Reload 3 charges per second. I guess charges are the amount of rockets you have in the turret. So maybe, you know how the Mars bot is like an unlimited rocket turret? It just keeps firing until it runs out of time. Maybe this only has a certain amount of rockets, because it literally says, these weapons will fire after unloading. So you can unload the weapons. And then the damage of these weapons can be increased from normal sources. What does that mean? Does that mean like pilot skills and modules? They deal great damage compared to normal weapons. That's what's probably going to make them overpowered. Similar to sonic shotguns, these these weapon turrets will deal great damage, which is kind of concerning considering how effective that is to deal great damage, as we've seen with the shotguns or the sonic shotguns. Okay, so new weapons, and now it's all going to tie together here, because also notice these names I'm pretty sure are French. Somebody confirm that if you're French in the comments. And I'm pretty sure Sultan and Hachi are French. So now we go to the new robot. And this is going to blow your mind, maybe, because it blew my mind. So the new robot is called, not Robespierre, Robespierre. And it's French. But let me explain. So this is a Yandi robot, and Yandi Corporation creates Sharanga, Indra, Mercury, a bunch of different robots in the game. So Robespierre is a new type of robot from Yandi Ventures, possessing a more simplistic, destructive ability to freeze and weaken enemies while having a very powerful and durable hull to back up its lack of gimmicks on the battlefield. This, paired with high firepower, makes it a formidable foe under most conditions. Okay, so it has a freeze ability and can weaken enemies somehow. And they say it's powerful and durable. And this all makes sense of how I'm going to explain this. And the recommended equipment is 1 guillotine, 2 Hachi, and 1 Sultan. So that does mean there's 4 hard points. I just don't know which one is light, which one is medium, and which one is heavy. That's the one concern. I don't know which is which. So here is the ability more in depth. So it's called ability Austere Freeze, I think it's pronounced. When using this ability, Robespierre will gain a temporary boost in resistance while launching a freeze bomb at a targeted enemy. So maybe that's similar to like the Siren. So you launch a freeze bomb at a Siren, or like a Siren. This bomb will create a critical freeze zone, instantly freezing enemies and applying a permanent weakening effect. Each stack of this effect reduces the robot's speed, healing, and increases the damage they receive from all sources. Whoa, okay, that's a lot. So you create a freeze zone, and it instantly freezes enemies and weakens the robot by reducing their speed, healing, and increasing the amount of damage they take. So like a death mark almost. And here are the stats on some of the whatever they're called, the stats of the ability. So resistance and free zone duration, 8 seconds. The robot itself will gain 50 defense points. Range, 350 meters. Free zone radius, 80 meters. The freeze bomb damage is 17,800. I assume that's at max level, which doesn't seem that high. Effect application. Okay, so this is when you hit an enemy with this ability, they get reduced healing by 0.5%. They slow down 1%, and they get increased damaged by 2%. My question is, that's all fine and dandy, but it's kind of dumb if this is a permanent effect throughout the whole game. Like, obviously, it only makes sense if it wears off. So, I took in this information, and this name seemed very familiar. Robespierre, and I remember because a long time ago, I remember this name being close to Robespierre, but it's not. And then I was saving it into my computer, and I had an old picture from 5 years ago about a old robot that was created but never released into the live server. It was a canceled robot, and this is what I got. So this thing, maybe you recognize it, maybe you don't, but I'll just read the description. One of the few canceled robots in the game. The Robespierre was intended to be the heavy counterpart to the Golem. It's related to the Golem, but failed to leave the testing stages. It is rarely mentioned among players and has almost been completely forgotten. With 2 medium, 1 light, and 1 heavy hard points. So now we know. It makes sense. 2 medium. So where is it? Here, the recommended equipment. So 2 medium, 1 heavy, 1 light. So we know that the medium weapons are Hachi, and I feel like Guillotine's going to be the heavy one. Oh my gosh, this is blowing my mind. So, it could have been a game changer, but was scrapped regardless. Whether because it was too overpowered or just not likable, we may never know. Now we know. And then this is the craziest part. All the French weapons in the French name of the robot. Maximilien de Robespierre was a French lawyer and politician who was executed during the French Revolution by the guillotine. I don't know why that makes me so excited. It feels like I just solved the weirdest mystery ever. He was a French politician and lawyer who was executed by a guillotine. And the new weapon, guillotine, is coming out. And then all this stuff seemed a little bit irrelevant because there was just such a little speed on the information. So like they thought it had 170k hit points, which back in the day was a lot, but probably not. Hard points, 1 light, 2 medium, 1 heavy. Its default weapons back in the day were Pin, Columbus, Thunder. And module slots, unknown, and then class, heavy, and that's really it. So this thing, I wonder if they're going to make it look like this robot, but it was a canceled robot, and now they're bringing it back. But also notice that it didn't have an ability. They said that it did not have an ability, where it's ability none. But obviously now they're adding this freeze ability to it. So yeah, that was a lot to take into my brain. But this robot was a canceled robot in the game. And it sounds like they're going to bring it back with adjustments, making it even stronger. And even based on this, it was a heavy robot with high durability. And that's what they say in this description, where it's a very powerful and durable hull to back up its lack of gimmicks on the battlefield. So what do you guys think about this? It's actually pretty cool that they may actually bring back a very old robot and make it usable. Like this is the Golem 2.0, which is kind of crazy to think about. And you can even see in this photo, they have a Zeus, 2 Columbus, and a Pin there. So what do you guys think about all this? It's actually pretty cool. I don't think I'm going to be a huge fan of these new turret weapons, but this new robot, just because it's an old canceled robot, gets me excited. And the way they connected it here to the French weapons and the guillotine seems pretty neat. So there it is, guys. What do you guys think about the new robot, the new weapons, the new legendary pilots? What are you most excited about? And what do you think is absolute garbage? Garbage, I would say, I feel like they don't need a laser pilot. I would probably remove him. But other than that, peace. Cheese McMuffins.